Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sci-Fi Wise Guys. My name is Chris.
Hi, Chris. This is Anthony.
Hey, buddy. You didn't say
Hi.
anything, so I was just sitting here.
Yeah, I did the hand motion several
Yeah,
times. I was like,
yeah,
go.
man. I'm trying to get your chat window stuff all figured out.
Okay,
This
okay,
is
okay.
yeah, we're
Is this another? This isn't really another episode as
this
much
is
as it is us just fooling around.
workshopping. We're workshopping. That's what we're doing here.
Wait, is that what we're doing? We're
Yeah.
workshopping.
Welcome, listeners, viewers, whichever.
Listeners,
Live
viewers,
show.
fans. Are they fans,
Eh,
Chris?
eh,
Welcome, fellow
eh.
wise guys.
Wise people.
It's a term. It's a title. We've said that wise guys is a title, therefore it is gender neutral.
Some people may not identify as a wise guy.
They're
Some people
very
might
not our
identify.
fans are called wise guys. I'm gonna make this.
Some
This
people.
is it.
Some people might identify as a wise ass. I've been sitting on that one for a while.
Have you?
Yeah.
I could tell. I could tell. Uh, is that what you self-identify as, Christopher?
No,
A wise ass? No.
no, I'm not wise. Smart enough
Oh,
to know I'm an idiot.
so you're just an ass? Is that what?
Yeah. How's it been, bud?
It's been really. It's been an interesting week. I've like, it's weird because what we're doing this live show. I don't know if it'll enter the feed. We have no idea where this is going to end up. It could just live in the Twitch and YouTube VODs forever, right? So I don't know how. I feel like I'm going to give away all the small talk. Like how am I going to do the open Marins for the next week if I tell you everything that's going on? Because
Well,
my life is not that interesting.
I was gonna say that you need to do more stuff.
It's because I feel like I've done a lot this past week. Um, I I binged watched a show, a mini series, completely out of nowhere. I couldn't sleep one night and just watched 6 episodes of something on Netflix, which is not sci-fi. I started reading a new book. I bought a book for the first time in a
Mm.
long time, and I started reading it. It's not just sitting there like my Mythica.
You know,
Mythica is just chilling over here. I've read like the prologue, and then kind of stopped.
I
I
read
already
a
know what
thing.
happens, so
Yeah, you already know what happens. I read a thing the other day that this is pretty neat. So Gen Z, the Zoomers,
the Zoomers.
um, are actually buying more books per capita
Oh yeah,
than
like
Gen X or millennials.
when you say buying more books, they're buying more physical books.
Yes. Well, that's supposed to be my next point. Is they're actually purchasing the physical item,
I think I saw that
not
headline.
the digital copy. Yeah. So
Nice. I don't know. There's it's a mix, right? Like I enjoy having a novel and I enjoy the physical book, but I also enjoy being able to just pull it out wherever I am. Like there's
well,
definitely pros and cons for both. If I'm waiting in line somewhere, just like sitting in the theater waiting for something to happen,
yeah.
like whatever, I can read. I really don't do that anymore because I'm just doom scrolling Reddit usually.
I think I think a lot of it is from what I understand the article that I read um is that it's the screen time.
Oh, you're just spending too much time. Yeah, looking at
Yeah,
the screen. I can
they
get
just
that.
want to get off the phone or tablet or Kindle or Nook or whatever. It's
Do you know
I don't
any
understand
Zoomers?
technology.
I don't think Zoomers have Nooks. I don't think Zoomers know what Nooks are.
I know that well they know who Tom Nook is probably.
Oh,
Um,
probably. Yeah.
no, I know Zoomers.
Name one.
Wesley. I won't give out his last name. He might be
I mean,
listening,
okay, cool.
but
I know one. Jim.
he's in my he's my friend Casey's little brher.
Jim
Um,
is my friend Clay's cousin.
oh
I'm just making
well,
names up
no
to
no
sound cool.
my buddy Wes. I play video games with him occasionally. He works for he works for a railroad company right now. Uh,
Oh, that's good.
not that one, not that one.
Okay,
But
okay.
he's a software developer for their automation software.
Not that one.
Not the one that may or may not have poisoned an entire subsection of Ohio.
I don't know if you've ever been. Have you ever been to Ohio, Chris?
I've flown over it, but
That
I've
doesn't
never
count.
dirtied my feet with that land. So no,
It's a toss up whether the land is better off.
it's all Ohio. Always has been.
It always has been.
No, well, tell me about your week. You don't
Oh
have to
yeah,
give away
yeah.
the goat. Just tell me about
No, no,
part of your
no.
week.
So I went to a concert last weekend, which I think I've already talked about on a pod that will be coming soon. So I won't repeat that story. But no, on the way home, we stopped by a bookstore because we don't really have any good bookstores here in our town because
Yeah.
we have a couple of used bookstores, and then there's one store downtown, but it's small, and then it's like 50% nonfiction historical records of the region, which is cool and all.
I'll have to
But
send you a
not
link. I'll have to send you a link to another one that I went to the other day.
okay. Where is it?
It's downtown,
Okay,
but
all
it's
right.
not that one.
Okay, there's another one. So no, I bought a book. I've been reading it. I say I've been reading it. I sat down yesterday and read the first 60 pages or so. How many ever chapters that is? It's a pretty easy read. Definitely m- uh, an approachable reading level on this particular novel. Here, let me show it to you.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I do. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Oh,
You ready?
Purdue is losing. Yeah, I'm ready. Oh yeah.
Yes. So it is The
You
Road
know,
to Neverwinter, the prequel to Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. It's got Chris Pine's face
my
front and center.
man, bringing it
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
bringing up the collective Chris.
You
You know,
somebody's got to bring up your slack for sure.
the other day, or not the other day, but just a few minutes ago, when you were like, "Yeah, I bought a book," I was going to ask you, how many books do you own that aren't related to a tabletop RPG?
Well, a lot. I think that's the only one I have that is related to a table. You
No,
mean
no, no, no,
like
no,
how many
okay,
novels I have?
no, just like any game or any book that isn't like an player's manual or dungeon master's guide.
Oh, yeah, I have a bookshelf full of books.
Yeah, I'm just asking. How many do you have? Or okay, random guess at how many you have.
I don't know. Somewhere it's like 40.
Okay.
I own all of the Tom Clancy novels. I own all of like the core Jack Ryan novels up to a certain point, like through 2006 or something like that.
Okay.
So I got all those. I have a smattering of random stuff, some nonfiction, and big fan of the Wheel of Time, which we've talked about on Pod before because of course we reviewed / lambasted that show. I actually re-listened to that episode, and I think I gave that show too much credit. I really did. It was way worse than I think. I was just like, just there's a lot of copium. There was a lot of copium, and
okay.
I was just living off of it. I was just living off of it. But yeah, this book so far so good. Chris Pine has met Michelle Rodriguez, and he's met one of the other characters just now. They're in a knoll cave.
Classic.
Yeah, classic. They're just hanging out in the tavern, and guess who shows up? Knolls. Hyena mutant
Fair
people.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It was a Thursday.
My experience with Knowles is killing Hogger outside of Stormwind.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very kind of different Knolls, but yeah, I get it. Same idea.
Yeah.
Same
Well,
idea.
they're hyena people, something like that.
Yeah.
No, I've
for,
got-
for people who don't know, gnolls or gnolls they're like they look like werewolves, but they're hyenas. So they
Yeah,
look
they're-
like hyena werewolves, and they don't transform or anything. They're just
They're anthropomorphic
hyenas.
hyena people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of people who know who those are, but
I'm sure our fan
I've
base is like,
got-
yeah, we know.
I think I've got like 30 to 40 books.
Yeah.
A lot of it, like I just, a random assortment, mostly fiction, some nonfiction. You said Tom Clancy earlier. My first exposure to Tom Clancy actually was from a different book. Let's do a little story here. My uncle used to just give me books when I was a little kid to read, and he got me interested in. I think a lot of I don't think it's abnormal, but I think a lot of children just randomly they like tanks. I think
Yeah,
tanks are rad.
tanks are
And
pretty cool, man.
and so he would give me these books by Ian Hogg. I don't know if that name sounds
N-
familiar, but this guy just
Not at
like
all.
the history of modern weaponry and stuff. You can Google
Mm,
him. Um, and so one day I was
yeah,
at a
yeah.
bookstore and I was like, "Oh, a book called Tank War." So I started reading it, and in the book, this guy's like going through, like he's looking for a book, and he goes, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, man, it's a spy book." And he grabs it, and he's like, "Man, you don't need to read that Tom Clancy crap." And he like throws it across the room. that was that was I was like, "Who's Tom Clancy?" And then I discovered later on in my life that he wrote a series of books. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, he wrote a series of books. He Tom Clancy was so accurate in his books that he got read into programs so they could ask him about it to figure out. Like, and his book started getting screened by the U.S. intelligence community.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is I mean, talk about credentials,
Uh,
right? Do you know how Tom Clancy started like why he started
no.
writing
No, I don't know
books?
anything about him other than he's been in a lot of video games apparently. I've never actually played as Tom Clancy though. It's kind of strange. So,
Uh, yeah, he so he back in the like late 70s or whatever, mid late 70s, he was really into naval warfare simulation video games.
oh,
Like real hardcore, like uh let's get all of like the physics right and it's just doing math, you know what I mean? Like those types of
sure.
old school games. And so he was just researching naval ships for these games. He was like, I want to make my own. He was working with some friends, and then that they started telling stories over their campaigns over this video game, and that's how we get Tom Clancy
Hmm.
video
All right.
games and an unhealthy obsession with the naval battleships.
I mean,
Speaking of like,
battleships are rad.
they
I
are
don't know what
pretty
you're talking
rad.
about. Oh yeah.
When I was a kid, it was I was all about the airplanes, the jets. You know what I mean? Like I had a
Yeah.
poster of the Blackbird on my wall. I loved that. I actually I geeked out the other day. Uh, maybe this was a month ago. Sometime this month, we were in a bigger city. Um, or sometime excuse me, sometime this year, we were in a bigger city, and we drove by a construction zone. And you know those huge, like drills that are just like they're like these huge drills.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever
Yeah.
seen one like actually on? I've seen them dozens of times. You drive
No.
by, there's construction, but you ever see one actually drilling into the ground?
No.
No. So I saw it for the first time. I'm driving, girlfriend's in the front seat, and we're mid conversation. We're talking about where we're gonna go for lunch or whatever. We're trying to find a kava, and I just stop mid sentence like, oh shoot, oh that's badass. Did you see that? Like,
Look at this drill.
did you see the drill? That was so cool. She's like, yeah, it's a drill. It's I was like, I've never seen one on before. That was awesome. And then I just paused for him. I was like, I'm sorry for being 4 years old for a moment there. The construction equipment is cool.
Nah. Nah. Never feel bad.
Oh, I don't feel bad. I didn't feel bad. We got us back on the path. But yeah, I brought it up a few more times that day. Uh, but it is interesting the things when you're a little kid that you get into that kind of shape what you're into later. I mean, we're here reviewing good and bad science fiction media, right?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be doing that if my parents didn't show me Star Trek as a kid. You know what I
Sure.
mean? If I didn't get
Right.
the special edition VHS Star Wars movies, or the original trilogy back in when did that have been? 90, 97, 98, or whatever. Whenever that was.
Yeah.
Did you just send me a link to Tank War?
Yeah. Cat's showing it on the screen right now. But yeah, this is the book that I'm talking about specifically. Larry Steelbaugh. Yeah. No, it's about this tank. It's like the most advanced tank in the world or whatever. It's called the No Slack. It's a rad book. It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
It's a rad book.
Maybe it probably more of an adult book than a than I originally thought it was. I think I bought this thing when I was like 15 or 16, and I was like,
Cat,
whoa.
Cat, can you zoom in onto the cover of that book? Yeah, if we can. What is that? What does that say? It is the Third World War. It is the ultimate war. It is Tank
Tank
War.
War.
Book
Yeah.
1 in the new high-tech combat series by Larry Steelbaugh. Now, okay, that is 100% like a, what do they call it when you're a pen name? That's a pen name, right? Like
Oh,
Larry
yeah.
Steelbaugh, who is this Tank War.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, it's a great book.
That's
I, I
awesome.
I think I've read all three of them. I definitely remember the second one more than the
Nice.
first one. But yeah, the No Slack. But,
Oh man, I tanks are cool. All right, we're yeah, like so like talking about things we like. Sorry, like science fiction and all this. I uh I loved Star Trek. I was into that first. We could start getting into Star Wars, right? And I'm talking to my friends about Star Wars for the first time, and I'm 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 11 or 12 years old. And there, I was like, Return of the Jedi is the best of these movies. This is obviously before any of the others. I was like, Return of the Jedi is the best one. I'm 11, and I'm gonna live by that. And my friends are like, No, man, that one's got the worst fights in it. It doesn't have any good fights. I said, what are you talking about? What do you mean? They're like the lightsaber battles. I don't really like them. There's not enough of them in there. And I was like, who cares about lightsaber battles? I mean, did you see all the spaceships outside of
yeah.
Endor? That's so cool. Like all like they're huge destroyers and the tiny ships, they're fast. That's so awesome. I could care less what's going on with Luke Skywalker. I just want the Millennium Falcon to
Yeah.
kill some more stuff.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It
My
was
micro
awesome.
machines were X-wings and TIE fighters, not
Oh, nice.
lightsabers.
Yeah, my micro machines were Ninja Turtles
Did you
and
have
the Borg cubes. But yeah,
did you have the so when they released when the Phantom Menace and started ramping up the marketing for the Phantom Menace, did you get the because I mean 1999, right? 1999, 1997,
I
whenever it
think
came
that's
out.
when it came up. Yeah, we need to look that up.
Google it, cat. When like Micro Machines came out with the like the actual X-wings with like manipulatable um like wings and stuff like from the original movies, and it was just like I thought those were so cool. And I think I was in junior high at the time, and I didn't care. I was still flying around X-wings in my backyard. It didn't matter how old I was. Oh, they
Yeah,
were rad.
they are
So
pretty rad.
yeah, because I
Yeah.
know I had the Millennium Falcon that opened like this, like oh, that did this. You know what I'm talking about? That would
Oh
go
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I had that one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That one was pretty cool.
I had I had the turtles. They were turtles, and they opened up, and then it was like the turtle lair. Or I also had the Technodrome that you opened up, and they had all the
Okay.
turtles in it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm looking. I don't. I see one on Amazon. This looks oddly familiar.
Let's see if we can pull up. Look at that. Look at the turtles.
Yeah. No, I
Wait.
didn't have those.
Oh man, it was all about the turtles. It's my only green shirt. We accidentally decided to stream on St. Patrick's Day, so I thought, oh, I better wear a green shirt. So when I get called out,
Nah, it's fine. It's fine.
it's fine.
You don't believe it. It's okay.
I wasn't wearing green at lunch today, and I was like, I'm not, sorry, I'm not Catholic. Sorry.
Here's one. I found one. I'll send the link to Cat. It's on Amazon. Cha 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 cha.
I totally intended to just say just to call her the producer or producer, but
Yeah, Action Fleet.
the cat's out of
Yeah,
the bag, so to speak.
as it were. But yeah, no, I had these.
Yeah.
These were awesome.
$60. You had this for $60?
I mean, it wasn't $60 back then.
Oh, okay. Jeez.
uh,
Cartoon character clone troopers? These were battery powered?
mhm.
Wow.
If you press down on R2, they would make
Oh,
the.
he make noise. Nice. Nice. Oh,
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, but anyways, I like spaceships, man. That's why I'm here.
Oh yeah, spaceships are awesome.
Spaceships are like the best. Uh, that's like 100% why I'm here. Uh, no, so between we've been recording episodes on the D&D movies. So between watching and recording those, reading this book, um, I also I finished my Pierce Brosnan
Oh
Bond
yeah.
walkthrough. Yeah, finished it. Was it Die Another Day?
Mm-hmm.
Probably the most sci-fi out of all of them. I was like, we could have reviewed this 100%. There's like an invisible car. There's a giant mirror in space that burns people. Like that shoots. Basically, it's a giant space laser.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like
there
Goldeneye.
was, yeah. I mean, like again, right? Um, there was DNA replacement. We're going to your bone marrow and replace your DNA so you become a different person. Um, what was the, there was something else too.
I think
There's a whole bunch of it was just so sci-fi. Oh, there was the whole virtual reality, like there was a holodeck. Like,
Moonraker might be
well, sorry, I
up
meant out of
there.
the
Yeah, yeah,
Pierce
yeah.
movies for sure. Yeah,
Because you definitely they go to space in that one.
yeah, yeah. Of course, in Moonraker.
And there's lasers.
Yeah, yeah. So I finished that. I might see if I can get Todd on. We can talk about it.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd. It's not as it wasn't as good as the third whatever the one before that was, because it's we did this already once. Goldeneye.
The world
Never.
is not enough, and tomorrow never dies.
Yeah.
Or did I get them mixed up again, like I did in last episode?
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I'm looking it up.
Yeah, I love how they get people who aren't English to be English spies.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I always remembered the world is not enough because you can make an acronym out of its name.
Goldeneye, Tomorrow Never Dies, World is
Yeah,
Not Enough, Die Another Day. The World is Not Enough is definitely the best one.
twine,
It, huh?
twine.
Twine. Oh,
Yeah,
Twine. It's definitely the best one in my opinion. It doesn't have it. It's not as over the top. The villain is a lot more down to earth. Plus, has Michelle Yeoh in it, who is of course the best. So
it's like the third best game.
is it?
Yeah,
What's the first best game?
Goldeneye. Come on, man.
What's the second best game?
Nightfire.
Oh, Nightfire. What about Agent Under Fire?
The reason why Nightfire is great is because if you beam someone in the head with a stun grenade or a flash grenade, you'd actually kill them.
Oh,
And
weird.
it was partially developed or developed completely by Gearbox Entertainment, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
And a mutual friend of ours was dating a guy who worked at Gearbox, and I asked him one day, I was like, if you can find out who was on the original development team and ask him why you were able to get one hit kills by hitting people in the head with a grenade. And he was never able to
Never
do it.
able to figure that one out, huh?
But he did get to this is unrelated. Remember when they re-released Bulletstorm
Yeah,
with Duke Nukem in it?
Duke Nukem in it. Yeah, yeah.
He got to write some of the lines that Duke Nukem would say.
Oh, really?
So if you play that game, every once in a while you'll hear a line that he'll say. So
That's
that
cool.
he wrote. So
That's cool. That's cool. I totally expected you to say that the second best James Bond game was GoldenEye because they remade it with Daniel Craig instead of Pierce Brosnan.
oh yeah, no.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind the
Wasn't it
Daniel Craig games.
GoldenEye Legends or something like that?
No,
Or
there was
just
another
James
one where you
Bond?
played somebody else. There was a couple of them, but
Yeah.
no,
There's the sequel. Yeah, it's the first one right there. GoldenEye Rogue Agent.
Rogue Agent is
Yeah.
different than the other
Yeah.
one. Yeah, yeah. Pull those up here on screen, and then GoldenEye, yeah, Reloaded is the one where they just replaced Pierce Brosnan with Daniel Craig. Ultimate disrespect. Ultimate disrespect.
Eh.
I mean, if you ever read up on how Pierce Brosnan was kind of ungraciously let go, like he was given like a 5-minute phone call. Hey, by the way, you're not gonna do the next movie. You're done.
Bye.
That was basically it. Yeah.
It happens. That's why I never feel bad when movies bomb.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of things bombing, I read today that the Willow show
oh, okay.
may not actually be canceled.
Oh,
They let
Willow.
go of they let all their actors go because like they're not going to film anytime soon, and they wanted them to be able to do other things. But we're totally the creator of the show's like, we're totally coming back. There will be a next one. It just won't be this next year or whatever. Uh, no, which I think might be him just trying to save face or garner support or something.
Eh.
Because all the other news is like that's canceled. I did like the sputtering of social media going, but why would you cancel this? I loved it. And it was like, well, you love bad things.
Yeah.
You have zero taste,
They,
and
they can't all be bangers.
they can't
They
all
just
be
can't.
bangers.
They can't all be bangers.
I had hoped that one would be a banger, for sure.
I didn't.
But it was not.
Uh,
I don't know, man. It would have been cool to see what's his face get more work, and that Willow is a cool story. I love the movie. It was a really good movie.
some things should just be one hit wonders.
Are
Just
we a
saying.
one-hit wonder, Chris?
Man,
Is
I
this
don't
what
even
it's
know.
like
If,
to go
I don't
out?
even know if it's a hit.
Are we a
Well,
wonder? Is that how that goes?
well, my week in sci-fi has gone eerily similar. I didn't stay up and binge a show, but I have been watching the Dresden Files because it's on Tubi now,
Oh, okay.
so that's kind of fun. Our boy Paul Blackthorne,
Yeah.
he's the man. Arrow season 1, shout out.
I mean, he's
Uh,
in more than one season of Arrow, but yeah.
yeah, that's the
Sure.
only one I recognize. And then I've been
Yeah.
playing a game that you actually bought me for Christmas one year, Remnant from the Ashes.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I've been
Did I
playing
buy you
it
that?
again. You bought it for me for Christmas. You might have done it as a joke,
No.
but
It would have been on your wish list. I would have gone on Steam, found your wish list, given it
but
to you.
uh,
Like that's how
but
I do that.
it's
Yeah.
a it's it- the most reductive way I can describe it is Dark Souls with guns. But the sequel might be coming out this year
Oh, okay. They're making
because
another one.
they've been ramping up the marketing, and so I decided to download it and give it a run, and it's just as fun as I remember. So yeah.
Nice, nice. I've been playing a couple of different games actually. I've been playing through Dead Island.
Yeah.
It's been all
Ugh.
right. It's been a lot of fun in co-op for sure. I think I would have been really bored by now if I was playing by myself. But in co-op, it's a lot of fun. And
Are
we're
you
just doing everything.
Which character are you?
Whichever one does the firearms. I was like, give me some guns.
Oh,
So it's the Australian lady.
Yeah. No, I think if I remember right, the football player, the blonde haired guy is the
Yeah.
best one because
Is he?
he does the
He
throwing
does the
knives
throwing
or
stuff?
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was like, no, I want to be a melee character, and then I picked the rapper, and he's
Yeah, that's
terrible.
what she's playing. That's what she's playing. It knocks things down really quickly. It's nice. But no, the sequel looked like it might be fun. We'd played a little Dying Light before, but I bought like a combo pack with Dead Island and Riptide, the sequel, definitive editions for like $5. So playing through that in co-op, still trudging along, playing some Kingdoms of Amalur,
Or Miller.
Reckoning or Re-Reckoning or whatever. In and out of that, and then Halo just had a content drop at the beginning of the month.
Oh.
Halo Infinite. So I'm kind of going through and checking that out. But just depending on the mood. Depending on the
Who
mood.
do you voodoo?
Are you quoting the song from Dead Island?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Best part of the game is the
Best part of the
intro.
Yeah.
It's the intro.
I'm not gonna disagree. I'm not gonna disagree. Not gonna disagree.
Yeah.
You're not excited for Dead Island 2, huh?
Man, I just, we've had this discussion. Ironic because we're going to discuss a show here in a second that involves a certain horror slash science fiction villain. Zombies.
Yeah.
They're just, you know,
They're just what?
I think they're played out. That's all. I'm tired of it. I want other things, but I get it. I get it. You know,
Yes, what else are you gonna do?
people want to kill other people, and they just, you know, oh, they're infected now, so that's how we're able to get away with it. Oh, you can't, you know, go on a shooting spree in a mall in a video game, but you know, now that they're zombies, you can, even though they look exactly like humans. They're wearing the same clothes. That's all right now.
It's
It's
close.
okay.
It's close.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, you got bit? Oh, no, I can kill you now because you're a zombie. Yeah, it's kind of, I just think it's kind of lame. You know,
Okay.
just play the first level of Modern Warfare 2. Just do it. Don't be a coward.
It's not the
No,
first level, but
no Russian.
yeah. No Russian. No
That's my
Russian.
rant. That's my
Is
rant
that
on
your rant?
Left for
Look,
Dead, more like Left for Lame.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Calling
it's
y'all
just
out.
like any other. They're just monsters. Any other type of monster. I think it's I mean, like the original. Like I say the original. Let me reword that. Like the movies that made them popular, like Night of the Living Dead, right? They made the modern zombie popular, and not just like old voodoo stories or something. I mean, it's all just a metaphor for death. Like it always comes. It's gonna get you. You can run, you can hide, you can fight against it as hard as you can, but we're all gonna die in the end.
You can wear sleeveless shirts in a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, that guy was an idiot. Uh,
You can wear a dress with no pants in a zombie apocalypse.
the people who aren't covered up, just like
I just, you know,
ugh.
28 Days Later did it right. That guy, I don't remember his name, whatever Gleason. You know, he's wearing the full leather outfit. He's got the
Yeah,
big riot shield. He's got the big truncheon club thing. You know, like he did it right. And, you know, but nope, got to walk
yeah,
around in the zombie apocalypse in a tank top and shorts and flip
yeah.
flops. That's
Like
the
it
way to
doesn't.
do it.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Like it's. I think that's something that I do like, and we're transitioning. That's something I do like about The Last of Us, is that the characters don't seem to make bad ideas when it comes to the zombies. Like they all know how to handle them. They're
Mm,
doing what they need to do. But the zombies they're also a little bit different.
mm. Do
I mean, for
they?
the most, yeah, I
Do
think
they?
so.
Do they make good ideas?
Are good choices.
Well, yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
talk.
what we're doing. We're talking about it right now.
Let's
We're
talk
talking
about it.
about it.
All
We're
right.
talking about it. Let's dive into it. Like this is a live show. It's not gonna it doesn't have to follow the same format. We can get to the facts in a minute, or we can stop and do them now. It's up to you.
Uh, I wanna go ahead and just do idiot of the show right now.
Oh, we're gonna do idiot of the show
I
right
want to do
now.
idiot of the
Right
show
away.
right now.
Okay.
Um, it's obvious. It's two-way tie between Joel and Ellie. They're just running
Wow.
away. They're just running away with it.
Okay.
Ellie gets it for a lot of reasons. We're gonna do spoilers. 3, 2, 1. The show came out last week. If you haven't watched it yet, I mean, keep listening. You're just gonna get it spoiled. Um, you know, hanging around in a mall that you're not supposed to be hanging around in. You know,
Yeah.
just making
Yeah.
as much noise as possible,
Well, it's her friend had been in there
screaming,
making noise for days. It sounded like.
yelling, playing loud video games, turning the power on and off and on and off, playing
And
loud music.
they supposedly cleared it, and there were no zombies in there.
No, no.
And her friend had been there for days. So if you're gonna call
No.
Ellie an idiot for that, you really call her friend.
Nope.
Her friend's not. Her friend who's
No.
been there playing Mortal
This is
Kombat for
this
days.
is the reason why Ellie's the idiot.
Uh-huh.
Because her homegirl was like, sneak out of this place. Come hang out with me. Oh, I shouldn't. Well, you're gonna do it anyways. Well, one, you're an idiot because you succumb to peer pressure. And two,
Alright.
and two, why did like I just don't get it. I just don't get why. I mean, I understand that they're kids. That's all,
Yeah.
I
They're-
understand.
Ellie is
they're
14.
they're teenagers,
Yeah.
but I just wouldn't do it in the zombie apocalypse. You just wouldn't catch me in an abandoned building. It
Well-
just wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen. I'm just saying. Like, oh,
Yeah.
we should go in here. Yeah, you're right. Let's go somewhere else. It's boarded off for a reason.
Well, and like that's what I was saying. Like her friend, was it
Riley.
Riley had been living in there for a few days. Well, you remember Ellie was born into all this, right? Like she doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. She's 14.
Yeah, a
That's
lot of
all.
14-year-olds are idiots, so it happens.
That's fair. All right. How's Joel the idiot? Give it to me.
Well,
Give it
Joel's
to
the
me.
idiot because he may or may not doom all of mankind for misguided love for someone who isn't his daughter. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, like
Your chosen family is more important than.
well, it's not that. It's the point of the game. Like, so you spend, I don't know, 20, 30 hours playing this game. You're going through, you're surviving, you're trying to save yourself and this other person's life, and you fight off all these infected, these raiders. You do these horrible things to other people, and then when given the opportunity to possibly save the human race, Joel does the most selfish thing he could possibly
Mm-hmm.
do
Mm-hmm.
and make a decision for someone else. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I think that makes him an idiot. I really do. Um, I'm not a parent. I've never been
Obviously.
one.
Yeah.
Um,
Obviously.
but even then, um, if my child died in an unfortunate accident where they were shot by the police or the military, whichever one it was, um, and I spend the rest of my life hanging onto that guilt. I just don't know if I could make the same. I don't know if I could make the same selfish decision that Joel does, because he's the monster, not the infected. The infected are
Wow.
who they are.
We're
Not
diving
the
way into this
not
conversation.
not like like people who are, you know, cannibalism's okay. I draw the line at child bride. That's fair. Um, but they're monsters too. But unfortunately, I think Joel's the idiot of the show.
Hmm.
Um, you know, he'll eventually face we all face the consequences of our actions. Um, we all die at some point. You talked about how zombies represent death,
Yeah.
but
Or the original incarnation.
yeah, but
Romero. Mm-hmm.
no, I just think he's an idiot. He really
Okay.
is. Um,
I I don't agree. I don't agree.
it's fair.
Um. I mean,
Which
I don't
which
know.
which which do you just not agree with him being an idiot or
I don't
any
agree with
part of
him
my
being an
argument?
idiot. I
Oh,
mean, I get where you're coming from an objective standpoint, but from like a subjective standpoint, like putting yourself in his shoes, this is his family. He has a chance to finally protect somebody and save somebody. And I get that he may or may not have doomed everybody, but there was no guarantee that they were going to find a cure. The doctors were like, "Yeah, we're going to immediately just kill and dissect her and take her brain," which to me, like, there's got to be several steps before that, before you jump right to
oh yeah.
taking
No, sure.
samples, like lobotomizing somebody and murdering, like committing murder. Um, so because he could have just as how do I put this? You said that he sacrificed the entire human race, but we actually don't know that.
Well,
Maybe the cure is
I
not
said
transferable.
he possibly
Possibly.
doomed all of humanity is what I said.
You did say possibly. It's not worth it. I don't know. I don't think
Allegedly.
it's worth it.
Allegedly.
And there's all sorts of I don't know. I think the idiot is definitely
Well,
of the whole show.
second place is
Third
definite.
place.
No, because they're tied for first. Second place is Homegirl,
Mm-hmm.
who doesn't
Marlene.
immediately, yeah, Marley, who doesn't immediately kill him,
Yeah.
right? What's his face earned idiot of the show in the pilot episode because when he double crossed
Yep.
Tess, like while she's in the room and after they've beaten the crap out of her, he says, I'm scared. Essentially, I don't think that's his exact words, but he says, I don't want your boyfriend to come after me, right? So
Yeah.
everyone knows what this guy is completely capable of doing. Everyone is terrified of him, and even Marlene says, "You're the last person that I want to be in debt to," right?
Yeah.
So she should have just put a bullet in him right then and there, or just never woken him up, never
Uh,
given him the opportunity, or woken him up 20, 30 minutes away after the procedure had already been done.
yeah.
Marlene is definitely in solid second place for idiot
Okay,
of the
I'm
show.
glad she was gonna be my vote just because of her behavior in the last episode.
Yeah.
Snow Angel in the chat. I like to cast my vote for David, the preacher dude.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
for sure.
100%. I don't. Yeah, I think leading a cult in the post-apocalypse and being a pedophile. I think that I think
Well,
that
I
does
mean,
it.
I think he's also a rapist.
Yeah,
Beyond just being a pedophile, I think he also might be a rapist.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the cannibalism. I
Like I said,
mean, I don't
you know,
know. We don't know how that person died. Like, there's I don't know. People get
cannibalism.
desperate. I don't know. I I'm
eh,
willing to forgive, maybe.
Look,
Um,
all
but
I know is
he
if you get
also, like, ignoring all of those horrible traits, which is those are some horrible things to just ignore for the next thing I'm going to say. But let's try our hardest. Uh, he sees Ellie and dooms his entire fellowship for this one girl. Even if Ellie was, let's say Ellie was 25, you know what I mean? And we take away his other horrible traits, he doomed, like, take away the pedophilia, I guess. He doomed everybody because he was like, well, she's nice.
yeah,
Nah,
I'm gonna he homeboy risked it all,
like
literally.
literally risked it all
The chart of f around
and
and find out right there.
he hit it real quick,
Yeah.
real hard.
No, I just
Did you catch that was Troy Baker in that episode? His number
oh
one man,
yeah, his homeboy.
his number one guy. Yeah, I love that she got to get him in the neck with the butcher's knife. That was awesome. That was
Yeah, no,
awesome.
David the preacher guy is definitely a creepazoid 9000. Um,
Yeah.
I also think that a couple of secondary,
We're just gonna go
uh,
through idiots.
yeah, maybe the top five.
Okay, because I
Screw
got one.
attacks, top 10
No,
idiots of the show. Copyright.
wow, that was a throwback.
No, uh, yeah, Riley is definitely an idiot. Um, you know,
Yeah, she's also like a
sh-
child. Yeah.
well, I mean, it's just getting indoctrinated into uh, a resistance unit. No, I get like here's the thing about the Fireflies. I haven't played the game very much. And I get the idea of, expression for freedom, light in the
Yeah.
dark,
Sure.
all that stuff. But um, yeah, I feel like that guy, that zombie, that infested guy or infected or whatever, it'd been laying there a while.
Oh yeah.
So maybe she came across him and didn't do anything about it. But I feel like I might have swept and cleared the mall.
A little bit better.
I might
Yeah.
have just gone to every single one of those stores and been like, hey, oh hey, Victoria's Secret. Oh, infected.
Let's get it. Let's
Get-
get it done.
Cool,
Yep.
he's dead.
I will say, like, you said you hadn't played the games. I would say that having played through the game now 10 years ago almost now, there's not any extra. There's nothing you're missing as far as the whole Firefly versus the government
Cool. Okay.
dynamic. Yeah, like what you see is what you get. I think you're good there. Um, it's like, speaking of leaders that get all of their people killed, Kathleen from when they were in Kansas City, where she rolls the dice on her entire group to chase one guy. Like, she risks everybody on a personal vendetta, essentially. It's really interesting because like, both David and Kathleen fail because they can't see the bigger picture. They have very narrow view. They're greedy, essentially. But it's also really interesting, especially in Kathleen's case, to compare her to Joel. He's got a very narrow view. He ends up being greedy near the end. Like, it's just that,
Well, yeah, it's just we're the monsters.
I mean, kind of. Yeah, I don't know if it's 100% that, but
I mean,
I don't disagree. I don't think it's like, because like The Walking Dead is not referring to the zombies; it's referring to the people. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. I don't think it's as on the nose as that.
I mean, I disagree in such a way because that was the message of the game. Like
The Last of Us. You think
yeah,
so?
the whole end the whole ending sequence, you control the character who
Hmm.
kills all these people,
Yeah,
whether like innocent or not. In theory,
in theory.
you are the person that is committing the atrocity.
I
Like
guess, yeah.
so, like
What?
even in the show, he kills one of the few remaining doctors on Earth, possibly. And Kathleen does the same thing when she's like, when they show up with the wounded people, and
Hmm.
she's like, "Would a doctor help him?" And he says no, and then she just walks over to that storage unit and just gets that dude, right? So
Yeah,
she's killing someone who has an unrecoverable amount of knowledge and specified skill that can benefit other people, and she
yeah,
does it out of revenge. And
yeah.
Joel does the exact same thing. Again, I'm just talking about it from a macro view.
Sure.
Joel is a killer.
Yeah. Oh,
It,
yeah.
it, it is undisputed.
For
He
sure.
he he is an expert at murdering human beings. Joel is a monster. What? And
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that he's not a quote unquote good guy.
Sure.
You
Sure.
know,
I guess like where I was disagreeing or where I was maybe splitting hairs is the whole like is that being the difference is and it maybe it comes across a bit better in the game versus the show. Him and Ellie getting close over the course of the last like 3 4 episodes of the show, that's condensed in the game really near the end. It's not really until he's told she's going to die from the procedure that he realizes how much he uh I guess loves her as a daughter, right?
sure.
um so like all of that afterwards is just him and like it's more or less a blind rage or whatever. um so it's a little bit different, but I get what you're trying to say. I just don't think that's the we'll see. I think we're talking in circles here, but um I don't 100% disagree. I think I'm splitting hairs, as it were.
I mean,
Yeah. Um, so we were gonna do the top five. So you did Joel and Ellie as a joint number one for okay. Okay.
yeah.
We got David,
Hot take.
Kathleen, and Marlene, and Riley. That's our top five. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we just named all of the characters besides Bill, uh,
I mean,
who and maybe Tommy. I guess like I'm trying to think of people who showed up more than who
I
had an
mean,
impact. I don't
I don't think Bill's an idiot really in any way.
know. I
It's
mean,
just he.
by your own definition, an idiot is anyone who causes their own death.
Well, I think
Are
I
you
don't
going to call an
necessarily.
exception to that rule in this
It's
one?
not necessarily an exception because he was going to die anyways, and I think he rather like
I mean, he was just
um.
old. I mean, he wasn't that old. I don't think.
Well, when his partner
Mm-hmm.
suffering from this awful disease, right,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
planning on killing himself anyways.
Yeah.
And so so Bill probably doing the most logical thing he's ever done,
Yeah.
aside surviving in the zombie apocalypse, was I've 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 lived this complete life, like,
Yeah.
20 some odd years in the zombie apocalypse. I met someone, I fell in love. I did something that I never would have happened to me outside of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd rather end the perfect day of my life than go on without.
Oh, I don't
Whose
disagree.
name
I
I
was
don't even
mostly
whose name I don't even remember at this
Frank.
point. Frank, yes, thank you. I don't necessarily qualify that as an idiot because I feel like if he didn't do it that day, like maybe 2 or 3 days after in a fit of depression, he might have just
Yeah. Sure.
wandered out into the forest and did whatever he had to do.
No, I don't.
Um,
I don't disagree. I was mostly
no,
poking funny. I wanted to see you backtrack real hard
no,
on
no,
that
no,
one.
no.
Um,
Bill, not an idiot. Yeah,
let's let's do some facts. Want to do some facts?
backed
We, we
away.
we've done. We're doing this in reverse. Apparently, we're doing this in some weird order. Let's look at where are we at on IMDb? So IMDb, the show's rated 9.0 out of 10 with 310,000 ratings. If we click into those ratings, 54.9% rated a 10. That is
Far and away.
that is very very high. Yes. Um, if we like, let's take a look at Rotten Tomatoes and then Metacritic, and then we'll kind of come look at the episodes individually on IMDb. But over on Rotten Tomatoes, 96% fresh, 89% audience score. That those are probably the two highest numbers we've ever had for anything we've reviewed on the podcast. I can't think of anything that would.
What was the Snyder Cut?
You look up the Snyder Cut. I don't think it was that high. The critics' consensus: retaining the most addictive aspects of its beloved source material while digging deeper into the story. The Last of Us is binge-worthy TV that ranks among the all-time greatest video game adaptations.
Snyder Cut, 93% audience score.
93 audience score. I have a bone to pick up with the whole video game adaptation thing. We're gonna come back around to that. Metacritic, 84 Metascore. Metacritic must watch, 6.3 user score. Fantastic. While we loop back around to IMDb and get the pull up the individual episode lists, why can't this be just one of the greatest shows of all time? Why do they have to like qualify it with being a video game adaptation?
Because the Super Mario Brothers movie exists. I mean,
I guess like it's like me saying, "Oh, this is." It's like a qualifier for how good it is because you've played a little bit of the game, but I mean I watched this with someone who never played the game at all. It's just a good show. It's a really good show. You're not going to get anything extra out of it having watched the game. It's like saying you can't enjoy. It's like saying I don't. Oh man, this might be a bad comparison, but like Iron Man, 2008's Iron Man, good movie, fun movie, real good movie. You don't get anything extra out of that movie having read some Iron Man comics. Like there's not like extra lore
like,
hidden somewhere.
There's probably Easter eggs.
Oh, maybe.
Know,
but it doesn't add to the story. Easter eggs aren't going to impact the rating that you give it. It might be fun for you to see, like, oh, look, that thing is kind of maybe a reference to blah blah blah, but it doesn't impact how good it is. If anything, too many Easter eggs, too many things that you have to be a big fan of to understand are detractors, right?
Yeah.
I just, the thing is a 9.0, over 90% fresh, right? Metacritic must watch. It keeps being qualified as a video game adaptation, and I don't think it's doing it any favors.
I think the other reason for that is I see and read a lot of stuff, or at least in the past I used to, about how video games aren't considered art.
Yeah, well,
which I've never agreed with at all.
Yeah.
But I think that might be the actual like qualifier, or the reason for the qualifier is that on its own merits, like my wife being one of them, someone who never played the game, didn't even know it was a video game. I think, in fact, like after the first episode, she's like, "Did you know this was a video game?" And I just looked at her like, "Yeah, I did."
Yeah.
I think that qualifier isn't necessarily unnecessary. Does that make even sense grammatically? It's not important. Because people are still going to slap the word adaptation on Lord of the Rings.
But they don't say, "Oh, Lord of the Rings is one of the greatest film adaptations of all time."
They do now, or they don't now.
Film like book, because books have been made into I guess movies for a long time.
Now they don't.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But like
maybe it's something that it just has to
maybe in 10 or 15 years, like, if humanity's still around, when it comes time for if either one of us, are showing this or bringing this show to the next generation of people, like not a niece or a nephew, but like a cousin or something, or a kid, who knows, right? You can be like, yeah, this show is great, but you don't have to use the words It's based on a video game.
I don't think you have to do that now. Is what I'm saying. Like this is
Right.
one of the most watched shows, one of those highest rated shows in recent history.
Yeah, but it was also one of the most critically acclaimed video games
That's true.
ever
The source
made.
material was
So
yeah.
like and that's the reason why it's so successful is
I
because
mean,
the original content was
you know,
already successful.
you know what else was already successful?
Don't say Mario Brothers.
Super Mario Brothers. You know, this was already successful. Street Fighter.
Yeah, but those weren't like these big narrative driven
I'm sorry, there was no
like
narrative in Super Mario Brothers.
yeah, tell me the story about the Mario Brothers. Tell me. No,
All right, so Bowser,
yeah.
Bowser kidnaps the princess, and he
Okay.
puts the Toad people, the
Uh-huh.
Toadstool people, he traps them as bricks and blocks,
Okay.
and like he makes them inanimate objects. And then Mario one day he's in New York, and he's
Okay.
plumbing away at something. This is plumbing because this is a plunger.
I hope
And
that's what that is.
he gets sucked in and he pops out, and somehow he's just like, oh, princess needs to be saved, I guess I'll go do this. And him and his brother hip hop over, and they go into the castle, and then they're like, oh no, it's not the princess, it's a talking mushroom that speaks English. It's like it's at a different castle. And
Mhm.
they do that 7 more times.
Okay.
It's a struggle, right?
Yeah.
And then they finally get to the real Bowser, and they hit that axe and throw him into some lava, and they save the princess.
Okay.
Oh man, I feel like it's just the
Okay.
hero's journey.
I'm looking right at the camera. That story sucks. Okay. That's what
No,
it
but
is. It's a bad story. It
you're
has
right. What
no
you mean
point.
is what you mean is that The Last of Us was lauded because of its narrative.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah.
is-
It,
yeah.
it wasn't just because it's one of the best like video. Cause,
Yeah.
like, Doom. You know,
Well, first of all, watch your mouth. How dare you?
Halo. Tons of comics and novels and some, and
Well,
some television shows.
well,
and
here's the
then-
deal. I wouldn't necessarily say that Halo has a great narrative. I'm just going to go ahead and say that right here for the record. I
we can
wouldn't
fight about it
necessarily
later, I
say
guess,
that
but-
Doom has a great narrative.
No.
Okay, I wouldn't necessarily say that Assassin's Creed has a great narrative. Not
It's got-
really.
I think some of them have a good framework for it. I don't know, man. Like maybe we can let's just take a moment, I guess. I think Assassin's Creed has a decent framework for a good narrative, but it's how you translate it into a different medium. Like it's very much made for a game in which we're able
Well-
to go do all these things because of the whatever the machine they put them in.
The Animus.
The Animus. I almost said Anubis, and I was like, no, that's Stargate. That's not right at all. Halo. Halo 2 is like it's 2 stories in one, obviously, and you got the action, military sci-fi thing where the Master Chief is killing stuff and he's blowing alien stuff up and he's chasing. He's I'm gonna give the Covenant back their bomb and blah blah blah, and then you have this completely other story, which is about a holy warrior in a in a society, like a religious military society, militaristic religious society / whatever, the Covenant, where he's disgraced and he's got to like fight his way back into the good graces of the leaders, and over the course of the game slowly loses his religion, like loses his faith on his and ends up not even he doesn't even really end up betraying, at least in his eyes, he's not betraying his leaders because his leaders have betrayed him. Is how it goes, and it's really really well done. And then in the next game you're just blowing stuff up again. So I think there's different stuff going on. But the thing with Halo and the thing with some of these other ones with these other adaptations like Street Fighter or even like Mortal Kombat or Doom or there was a Far Cry game, is that it's not just the game you can pull from. There's other media and whatnot. While with The Last of Us, it's just we're gonna pull from this game. And that's all they did. They didn't pull in. They pulled the one DLC, I guess. They made that an episode, but which makes sense. But it was just the game, and I think that's part of it. It's like without putting down Super Mario Brothers, one of the greatest stories of our time.
Debatable in all ways. Debatable. Super Mario Brothers.
You don't
is
have to
terrible.
make anything up for The Last of Us. The Last of Us doesn't need to be translated in any other way. It just the
Well,
story just is. And
I, I
I think it works.
it probably also doesn't help that those other games that you described could be considered revolutionary
Yeah.
for their gameplay,
Right.
right?
Right.
Mario Brothers was not the first platformer, but it was probably the first most accessible
Oh, it's the most it's
platformer.
super. Yeah.
Halo, not the first person shooter, but
Doom was,
definitely
but or
definitely
close to it.
um, probably the first super accessible first person shooter featuring multiplayer on a console, and
Yeah.
the story itself being probably just a rehash or remix of other
Oh yeah.
sci-fi elements. Not to say that The Last of Us in and of itself is wholly original,
Sure.
but
It is a zombie show slash movie or a game at the end of the
but
day.
the gameplay isn't the core element of what makes The Last of Us great. I don't know anyone who's played the game that said, "Oh man, let me tell you, The Last of Us, oh the game, it's the best game I've ever played. Oh my god, the gameplay, the gameplay's great." No,
I love
they
throwing
all
these
have
bricks.
ever told me the story is what makes you play,
Yeah.
like what makes you keep going. You want to finish, you want to know what happens in the next chapter. You have to find out. You need to know. You have to go to the next building. You have to go to the next hill because you need to find out what happens to these characters. And I
Sure.
don't think that necessarily applies to any of the other games that you listed.
No. I was
I'm
just
not
trying to think of
saying,
ones that have been adapted, honestly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm not, I don't disagree with you that the Halo 2 story is a great story. The Halo 1 story is not fantastic. Like,
I mean, it's a generic zombie story.
in fact, there's probably nothing special about it, but that's not what makes the game fun. What makes the
Right.
game fun is you can have four people on an Xbox. One of them just happens to be named Waffle, and you can throw plasma grenades at each other,
Yeah.
while running through teleporters. Like, that's probably the reason why that show's adaptations, eh,
It's not an adaptation. We can fight about that later. It's not an
eh,
adaptation
eh.
because there's nothing. They didn't adapt anything.
There it
They put
is.
his.
There he
It didn't
is.
matter, man. Look, I
I just put a quarter in you. I'm just gonna turn.
it doesn't count as an adaptation if you're not adapting it. If you're just stealing names and throwing them on some other story, it's not an adaptation. Um, it, I, I went into it thinking as long as it's as bad as Wheel of Time and not worse, we'll be good. And then it was worse, so it is what it is.
It
No,
is what it be.
I guess I think because video game adaptations, whether they go to movies or TV shows, have been historically bad. I mean, I brought up Super Mario Brothers, Street Fighter.
House of the Dead.
That
I
one.
saw that one in theaters. Yeah. Resident
there's
Evil.
Oh my gosh. R.I.P. Lance. Sorry, we're not going to get a season 2 with you.
R.I.P.
All right, yeah. What's another one that like the Tomb Raider movies? Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies did okay, right? Especially the first one. They made a sequel. It was successful enough. They came to the theaters and all that. The third, I liked the newer one with the other actress whom I'm not going to look up right now.
They made another Tomb Raider movie?
Yeah, like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
Producer, put it on the screen.
It's semi-named after or semi kind of based on the 2013 reboot. So it was after that.
I didn't know there was. That's neat.
Yeah, and then they did the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland and Marky Mark, which is
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
fine, I guess.
Oh, I love that. Hold on, before you go any further, I love that the right beneath the first one on the second row of clickbait articles here, how a 500,000 word Harry Potter fan fiction blew up online.
Yeah, I'm not clicking that. Don't click that. Producer, let's just stick to the
Coward.
Let's just stick to where we're at. We're not going to be.
Yeah.
You want to just become a podcast that just looks up fan fiction?
And you talked about Street Fighter. Yeah, that's a great adaptation. Tell me the story about Street Fighter.
No, it's not a great app. Like there's been more than one attempt at it. There you go on screen from 2018.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know this thing came out.
Yeah, it was fun. I didn't mind it. It toyed with your expectations if you'd played the game. Like there were a few twists that went. They like teased that they were going to go the same way as the game, and then would twist the other way. It was pretty good that direction. But
okay, I never played I think I played the original Tomb Raider.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not in love with that type of gameplay, and I know that the newer games are not
No,
like
they're
the
not that at
original
all.
ones.
No, they're completely new. Yeah.
So,
Well, I
but
say
it
new.
just
It's like Uncharted is basically like a newer Tomb Raider, and then they were
yeah.
like, "Oh, we can do that too, only better." I think they're worth playing. I've played through the first two. Um, I have the third one. I've just been sitting on it. I need to
Yeah.
pick it up.
Yeah, but
Um,
I again like video games that don't make it like the translation to the film or to the screen like
yeah,
Warcraft.
I thought I thought that was all
Like
right. I thought it was a
it's a
good,
great it's a
tough,
great
fun
movie.
movie. Yeah.
Great movie. Not a great adaptation.
I don't
Because
know because I
again,
don't know anything about
well
the.
they also like retcon the story. But
Did
that's
they?
okay. I mean, you know,
I mean, it's an
it's
adaptation. It doesn't have to be
yeah.
exact. Like no one's asking for it to be exact.
Yeah. But again,
It just
it's their story. They can tell it any way they want to
that's
tell it,
true.
but
I
um
liked my favorite bit about, and I've probably told you this before. My favorite bit about the Warcraft movie, and if I can find this character's name, let's see, World of Warcraft
well, the
film.
movie is just called Warcraft.
Oh, is it just called Warcraft?
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah,
Yeah, because
Warcraft.
it's
You
not
got it.
based on WoW. It's based on the
Just
original
the original
Warcraft,
Warcraft.
orcs
That's right.
versus humans.
Yes, Garona,
Yeah,
the
half orc.
half orc.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she, if you watch the movie, because I saw it twice in the theater because I was like on a work site and didn't have anything else to do. I was bored a lot. Uh, she levels up throughout. Like she starts
She
off
does,
with like
doesn't she? Yeah.
basic clothing and a small knife, and then she's in the battlefield and she picks up a bigger weapon, and then she has like real clothes instead of her like tattered clothes, and then but like by the end of it, she's got a huge weapon and like plate armor or whatever. Like she just slowly levels up, and you can watch. I was like, hey look,
Ding.
look at that, look at
Yeah,
that.
I saw that in the theaters with Josh. Like, is
Yeah,
great. Like. I
yeah.
mean, the IMDb
We
rating is the
should
IMDb rating,
we
but
should review it. Let's
um,
rewatch it and review it on the podcast
yeah.
instead
So
of one of these D&D movies we're gonna do this next month.
nope.
I'm still say we should throw in. We could do a fantasy month. We could do the Warcraft film.
See all the light coming
We
in
get
from
to
the
the
TV.
it was the we
No,
could
you
do
don't.
the
You don't. Snow Angel.
what's the Jason Statham movie I said we should watch? The Dungeon Siege film.
Return of the King.
Not Return of the King. The Name of the King. Name
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
King.
yeah. In the name of the Twin Towers or something.
Yeah. Do you see all the light coming up from her feet every time she picks up a new weapon or gets new?
No,
No, it's not. It's not like in your face. It's
it's
just
not
like a subtle.
It's subtle. Yeah.
Yeah. I really I thought it was
She.
I
I
thought it
think
was
she.
very clever.
I think she assigns her talents off screen. I think that's what she's doing.
Yeah, yeah. She's in the menus in between
Yeah,
fights
yeah, yeah.
while other people are doing things.
Yeah.
She's
She's
assigning.
She's ninja looting.
Yeah, she's ninja looting. I mean, she does pick up that first weapon off a dead ally. So I mean, you know, it is what it is. No, we could do a whole fantasy month because we got like these kind of we've done Mythica obviously, but we got the Warcraft film, like things that aren't Lord of the Rings or D&D. I guess I bet we could find some.
I
Bet you could find
absolutely.
some.
Yeah. Where's the sequel to Chasen?
We could finish watching Willow.
No.
Just see how bad it is. I have I have so many rants about that. Let's swing back around to the Last of Us here. Looking at the episode list on IMDb, we're just going to scroll through here. Episode 1, 9.2. I think you mentioned it was like one of the greatest, like high or most watched or most highly rated pilot episodes for television of
ever.
all time, like ever.
Yeah.
Which is just another pro for my argument to just stop giving it a qualifier as a video game adaptation. Episode 2, 9.1. Episode 3, 8.0. I can tell you why that one dive bombed, and that's because of the 1-star reviewers. Next, 8.4. I can see that dipping a little bit, but it leads directly into the next episode, which is at a 9.5. The next is 8.9 when they reach Tommy again. Left Behind gets a 7.4. That's the episode based on the DLC. And then the finale,
That's not the finale.
9.4. Or excuse me, the penultimate episode, 9.4. And then the finale, 9.1. So it looks like when we are in need, episode 8, out of 9. That's the highest rated episode. Would you? I would. I would kind of agree with that. No, Endure
Uh,
and Survive is
yeah, that's
9.5 there.
probably
So it's
it. It's
yeah.
probably the best episode of the show.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. Between the two of them, that's pretty hard. I think it's easier for me to point out the episodes I didn't like, or the really not even the episodes, but the things I didn't like, than it is for me to say the things I did like. Um,
Well, I mean, what makes Endure and Survive a great episode after watching it and after completing the season is like so I don't remember their names, but Joel's like the older brother confesses to him that I'm a collaborator,
right.
and Joel initially is
Yeah, Henry
disgusted. Yeah,
and
but then he
Sam.
eventually says, like, when they're in the classroom or whatever, and he's like, you know, if you did what you did for him,
Hmm.
I can understand, right? And that directly ties into what he does at the end of the show or end of the game when he proceed like Henry may or may not have doomed all of Kansas City
Yeah,
to save the life of his little brother. That like, but not even necessarily to save the life, the chance to save the life of his younger brother. And then Joel does the exact same thing, just on a grander scale.
yeah.
So like
Well,
it's
it's kind of flipped, like you said, right? He saves Ellie versus maybe a chance of saving the human race.
yeah,
So it's kind of yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
very very similar, right? There's a lot of parallels. And we kind of briefly talked about that, I think, in one of our our cold opens or open marins, in which a a lot of people didn't like episode 3 because they're haters.
They are
Uh,
haters.
but a few people, including some people we know, called it a filler episode. Like, this is just a filler episode. Like, don't care about, like, it's good, but it's a filler episode. Um, but I think Bill and Frank's relationship is very something like Bill. And they draw so many parallels between Bill and Joel that it's impossible for me to see it as a filler episode. Like, it's almost giving, even though it's telling this the last 20 years of Bill, to me it's like giving the last 20 years of Joel. We're just not being
What
as on the nose
what
about it.
could have been.
Right, like what could have been, or like what type of person he is. I mean, it all comes together at the end, I think, and I think too many people missed it. I've really really liked
Yeah.
that episode, and if you are going to have a filler episode, because I think this episode and one other, or the closest to being what you could call a filler episode, this is the way to do it, where it's maybe it's not pushing the primary story forward, but it's telling us a lot about our characters, and it's letting them do things in the story later without having to explain them then. We
Yeah.
explained that already. We know motivations, or
Yeah.
we know what type of person they are or were, and we're able to move forward. So I don't know. I really, really liked the episode
Yeah. No, a
for a
lot of
lot of
times
reasons, not just as a love story, but as
if
a way
you
of exploring the character.
if you are capable of experiencing the depths of human emotions, that's an episode that you'll like. Like I mean,
Sure.
like I'm
Yeah.
being serious. Like
Yeah. No,
it
absolutely.
has nothing to do with it being a love story. It's as I've said it before, and even the creators of the game, a creator like Neil Druckmann has said it. Like this is not a game about zombies. This is a game
Sure.
about humans, like and how we react to the world that we are presented in, right? And Bill, who one could consider a monster, right? Like he is a conspiracy theorist. He's
He's
anti-government.
a prepper. Yeah.
He you know, he doesn't do anything directly that we see on screen really, aside from strangely walking down the street in the middle of the night shooting at people on a fence when he could be, in a tower somewhere. I don't know. Plot hole. Plot hole.
It's not a plot hole. It's just a bad
No,
decision on his part. Yeah.
it's a plot hole. He wouldn't have done it. It's a plot hole. Um,
Okay.
but he he takes a chance, right?
Mhm.
And what Joel does the same thing with Tess at some point. He does the same thing with Ellie at some point, and they take a chance on each other, Bill and Joel, in order to forge their friendship. So,
Yeah.
like that's what makes that episode great is you're able to see things not only from Bill's point of view, but you're able to see things from Joel's point of view and you're able to like experience, like I'm being serious, when you're able to experience all these emotions in what, 50 minutes, right?
It's a longer. It's actually I think it's like an hour and 20
Yeah,
episodes, so it's
something
over
like
an
that.
hour. I think you could spend
Yeah,
with Bill.
you
Spend
you
with Bill. Yeah.
you get the range of human emotions, and if you're able to
Yeah.
experience them, like if you like, and I'm not condoning, or I'm not being condescending.
You're not condemning. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you are capable of experiencing emotion on on the human scale, like that episode should touch you, and the fact that it has an 8.0 because a bunch of neck-bearded one-star reviewers just don't like the fact that two men kissed on screen. Like, I've got a real
Yeah.
problem with it.
Well, if you
I've
look at
got a
the number of
real problem with
reviews,
it.
look at the number of ratings on that episode versus the
Yeah,
episode
no,
2 and episode
click
4 you
on
see
it.
on screen.
Click on it. Let's see it.
What on long time?
Yeah. Let's see them.
And click on the
Oh,
8.0
look
in the
at
top right.
that. 54,000 one-star reviews.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah. We're not gonna show any of those on screen. I think we're good. Yeah. Yeah.
What a
Uh,
surprise.
the other episode that I think the lowest rated episode, the episode that I think is the closest to being filler, Left Behind. That's based on the DLC. So in the I'm kind of spoilers for the game, I guess. In the game, they hole up in that cabin. Joel is sick, and then suddenly you're playing Ellie, and she's hunting deer or whatever, like kind of like you see. Um, I feel like maybe she had a bow and arrow in the game, but that's not important. Um, but it jumped forward in time to that point, like it was like how many ever weeks or a month or whatever later. Um, and this DLC Left Behind takes place in that month while Joel is recovering. So basically, right where she remembers all of that. Um, and the but you have gameplay of her in the present, that point in the game, and she's flashing back to the time in the mall. So there's a bit more action in it. I can definitely see why people. I could definitely see why I get rated a little lower, simply because not a lot happens until the very end. Like it's very much just exploring whatever. Like just her being a happy kid. And I guess it all comes down at the end. But I can see why it's rated lower. I still wouldn't give it a 7.4. I still think it's a solid 8 at the very least. But I don't know. What did you? I know that episode I think didn't get received as well. Obviously.
I have to step away and I'll give you my thoughts here in just a second. Sorry, listeners.
Oh, now we get a. Oh, he stepped up. I can hear him walking away. Yeah. Okay. I have him. It's interesting on my screen. I have him popped out like in picture. And instead of going away, it just froze on his last expression. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Um, Hi, everybody. This is the Anthony Show. Well, we're going to make fun of Chris while he's gone. Does anyone have any good jokes? No? Okay, cool. I want to take this time to say that Chris is the worst podcast host you could possibly have. He gets up and leaves in the middle of the podcast. He has bad opinions about things. He's unreliable. He has a bad haircut. What else?
Hello.
The things he. Oh, hello, Chris.
Sorry about that.
It's all right, man. We were
hear
just talking.
I could hear my cat and dog scratching at the door. DLC can be considered filler in a video game, yes. Especially when it's not
chat,
good.
yeah. Yeah, a lot of DLC. Yeah, we have another. We can rant about that some other time. We're eventually gonna have a video game podcast. Yeah, is that where this is going?
To answer the question about Left Behind, I don't necessarily think that it's filler in such a way because, like we don't know much about Ellie, really, other than the fact that she's immune to this infection. Like we
Right.
don't really know anything about her. We
Not
like
really, no.
we don't know why she has any agency. We don't really know why she's able to um
Oh, here,
stab
hold on.
an infested in the or infected in the brain so
Hold on.
effectively, you
Hold
know.
on.
She just
Hold on.
doesn't.
Hold on.
Okay. It's a good pod.
Yeah, well, you're not on it.
Hmm?
When you canceled and came back, you are not here. I see you, but the people don't see you.
Oh no.
Yeah, hold on.
Here. I'll exit and come back.
Yeah. Yeah, like yeah, there you go. This is excellent pod. This is why we edit our episodes and don't do live shows. There he is.
Could they hear
You're
me at
back.
least?
I don't know. Could y'all
Oh.
hear him at least? Yes. The answer is yes. They could hear you. They just
Okay.
couldn't see you.
Oh, well, there was probably no need for me to. You probably don't want to look at me anyways.
No, we don't. I mean,
No, I
we
just
love you, Chris.
whatever. No, I just the episode in it of itself. My problems with the story and plot, regardless. It's a great episode. Like it provides us with context. Like we get a lot of Joel's context. We get the first episode for that, right?
Right, right.
But we don't really get any context for why Ellie is the way she is until the final 3 episodes of the show.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
like,
guess my only pushback on it quality wise would be if they did something more similar to what's in the game where she doesn't have the entire flashback at once. We could intersperse it with something else, right? Like kind of relate it to what she's doing. I think in the game she's in a mall, which is why she's remembering the last time she was in a mall. I've never played the DLC. I just read about it, so I'm sorry if I'm wrong, people. Yeah, I just like I said, I think it's just a little. It could be told a little better. I agree that it's necessary. I really like it conceptually. I just feel like the execution was lacking a bit.
okay.
Yeah. Um, did you have a favorite episode? Was it just the endure and survive? You called it the best, but is that your favorite?
Um. Yeah, maybe. I think so. I think the ending sequence probably gives everyone what they want, really, because like I think a val I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a accurate criticism, but I definitely think like a lot of memes and a lot of people posted on the internet like there's not a lot of zombies in the zombie show,
No.
and so that ending sequence, um, where Joel has an unlimited amount of bullets in a 7-shot gun. Um,
He swaps out the gun a few times.
no, he doesn't.
He does. I watched him do it.
No, he just reloads the same rifle a couple times.
No, he runs out and he sets it. You watch it drop to the ground and he picks up another one.
I'll have to rewatch the episode, but I think that's not correct.
Okay,
I disagree
you're
fundamentally.
wrong. All right,
Okay,
you can disagree with
I'll watch it again
facts.
and send you screenshots of it.
Sure.
But no, I think that it has all the zombies that you want. Like
Yeah.
like it's probably the most outbreak ish episode of the show, like outside of the pilot, right? And then that small sequence we get with the clickers in episode 2.
Yeah, I think too.
It's just it's like you get the battle sequence.
Yeah, well, they're
Shout out to
deliberately not in cities to avoid all of that. So, yeah.
shout out to the resistance. Not wearing armor. I don't get it. I just like I don't understand why people like hundreds and thousands of years ago when humans were first brought forth from the primordial muck, right? And we were able to actually
Thousands.
like hunt You know, no, I'm talking about
Yeah.
like when we became
Yeah,
fully
yeah, 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 yeah,
like
yeah.
formed, what we Homo sapiens or whatever, Neanderthals, whatever, right? When we started hunting things, we were like, man, the skin, it's really weak and it can be pierced easy. I should wear something that covers it, right? And then
Yeah.
we started killing animals, and then we realized their hide is really tough. Maybe we should start wearing that hide to protect ourselves against not only the elements but the things that we're hunting. Okay.
Yeah.
And then as the years went on and the decades and the eons and the centuries and millennia, we figured out there are things that are harder than leather and tougher. And I understand that you shouldn't be running around in some full plate mail because it's probably not going to be very effective in the zombie apocalypse. But you know what would be effective? Leather sleeves, right? Like I don't understand how these people aren't wearing leather armor, or at least layers of thick padded cloth. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's a reason why cowboys wear cowboy boots. It's not because they're stylish, which they are.
Which
Um,
they are.
it's that when a rattlesnake lashes out and tries to bite you, their fangs don't seek into your skin because they're stopped by the leather.
Yeah,
That's why
100%.
there's a reason why we wear that cowboys wear chaps, is so when they're riding through the brush and all those thick mesquite thorns don't pierce your flesh and infect your skin. They just
Yeah.
brush off because of the leather. The fact that these morons, these idiots, these fools they didn't raid every single leather goods store in America, at least in Kansas City, where there's a lot of cows there. Um, you're right. I'm not disagreeing with you, Snow Angel. But we never see him ever. It's just never a thing in any zombie movie ever. In Army of the Dead, Homegirl dies because she gets bitten because she's wearing sleeveless tank top shirts. I don't understand. What are we
Yeah.
doing, Hollywood? What are we doing?
They're
I'm
nothing.
fired up about
It's
it. I'm
I can
fired
tell
up.
you're fired up about it. Um, regardless,
Hey, Steph Straw.
uh, are you saying that if which group are you complaining about right now? The people in Kansas City or the people at the end?
I mean, I'm just pretty much complaining about anyone who, in the zombie apocalypse, isn't wearing as much leather armor as they can. I guess that's what. No, but the resistance, like, I think that Kathleen. Yes, we are. I think that Kathleen's problem, she's dumb because she knew about the problem.
Yep.
Like they have a whole scene about it where that guy with the magnificent beard brings her into that room and she's like, "Yeah, we'll talk about it later." No, talk about it now. Like I get that she's on this revenge kick, and she's trying to hunt down Henry because she wants revenge for her brother. Um,
Sure.
I get all that.
Sure.
Totes,
Totes.
totes. But
Totes. Yeah.
I feel like I would have done something. I don't know. I just feel like I would have done something about it.
I feel like well, we already said it, like she caused the demise of all her people because of greed. Is it greed? Hubris?
I mean, pick any number of the seven deadly sins. I mean,
Revenge? Revengeance?
vengeance.
Vengeance. Again.
Um,
But it's
I
the same
mean,
thing that it's the same thing that brought around the fall of David and his his congregation, well,
his peeps.
his people. Yeah, I mean it's the same like headstrong. I'm invincible. It's hubris. It's just hubris. I they're idiots. That's why they were in our top 5 idiots. Like we've
Yep.
come full circle. We started this an hour ago talking about our top 5 idiots of the show, and now we're back talking about the idiots.
But no, I just like I think there's a microcosm in that episode where that big hulking thing
Sure.
pops out of the ground,
Yeah.
and that guy turns around and looks at Kathleen and just says "run," right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he charges it. Which why doesn't anyone have a spear or any sort of bladed weapon? Not never mind. Next question. And then she chases down Henry. You know what I mean? Like which uh minor issue with the plot there. How does the clicker, who can only find its way around um, based on sound, is able to determine where they are when there's a gigantic firefight behind them?
So
Question.
that's not a clicker. Real easy answer.
Oh, it was. I think I read on the plot synopsis that it was a clicker.
Oh, well, I wouldn't trust that.
Did Kathleen get killed by
Yeah.
a clicker?
Oh, she got killed by the little girl.
That was a
zombie.
clicker.
Yeah, I was thinking of the big one. You talked about the big one that came out.
Yeah,
of the
no,
ground. That
no,
wasn't a
no,
clicker.
no.
Yeah,
I'm,
my
no, I'm
bad.
just.
My bad.
I was specifically mentioning when he charges him
Yeah,
and tells Kathleen to run. Right.
yeah.
I don't understand how that clicker was able to hear them or even know where they were. How did it even know where Ellie was in the car when all those AR-15s
I
and
don't know.
assault rifles are
I
going
don't.
off and that buggy is driving around and there's explosions?
Well, they're called clickers. I don't. Yeah, I think that it's not so much. I mean, they have excellent hearing, but I thought it was more like echolocation. But maybe I'm wrong. And
Yeah,
having all that extra sound, maybe that's too much, or maybe it makes it better because they're hearing more echoes and they're able to chase better.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Um, I think you're trying to find plot holes where none exist, Chris. It's not a plot hole.
No, I'm not saying that was a plot hole. I'm just asking how it was able to do it. That's all. Like I don't
I
know
think
enough
it's.
about the lore of the
Oh, I don't
show.
really.
Maybe if Neil's in the
Face
chat, he can
value.
answer that question.
I don't
Uh,
know if he's going to show up. Uh,
but
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Neil Druckmann or Craig Mazin, who helped with the adaptation. I don't think they're in the chat right now. Let's
Yeah.
check. Let me look at the
Yeah.
list.
I don't see him.
Nope. Don't
Oh,
see
there
him.
he is. Druckster. Druckster. Monster.
The Druck.
Monster Druckster.
Monster Druckster. Jeez.
Make it make it make sense.
So you've never played the second game, right? You don't know anything about it?
No, well,
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil if you know
No.
anything. I'm just asking, yes or no.
I know about it, one because of the internet, and two because our friend Josh came over and he handed me the Stargate DVDs, and then immediately spoiled the second game for for Elizabeth.
really?
She was really pissed off.
He
Like,
was?
No, she was like,
Oh.
he left, and she looked at me and she's like, "How could he do that?" And I was like,
Yeah, he did the same when we watched because we were watching it together, and he spoiled the second game for me. Like during the finale of the of the first one, and I didn't react because I was I watched every one of them with Kat and with Josh, and I was just like, well, I hope Kat didn't hear that, so I'm just not going to react to it. I was just beside myself with I don't know.
Steph
I know
Straw.
I know that Josh isn't. He's never one to be annoyed with spoilers, but we've been friends for 13 years, and he knows how I feel about it.
Yeah, I
Him
am.
telling me that something is good or bad is a spoiler as far as I'm concerned.
I also don't subscribe to the theory that spoilers ruin things. I don't mind them, but I don't go out of my way to do that for other people.
Right.
Like I usually ask people. I say, "Hey, do you want spoilers?" And they go, "Oh no." I'm like, "Cool, I'll just stop talking." But if they say no, I don't care, then I'll ruin something. So
Yeah. Snow Angel. Cat is pretty oblivious to nearly everything. Well, this has not been a season 1 spoiler free show. We've definitely dived in, and we told everybody at the get go, so I feel pretty good about it. And the little bit that I found out about it, I'm still looking forward to it. I think The Last of Us Part 1, as they're calling it now, the game, is coming to Steam. It's coming to PC. Let me look up when that is.
I actually just bought it on PS4.
Yep, it's coming out the 28th. So just a week, 11 days, just 11 days from now, a week and a half. So looking forward to replaying it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if part 2 is coming.
It'll probably come out because probably come out in like 6 years on PS7. the ultimate remastered final
Well, I think
edition.
they're already remastering it, I thought, but maybe not for
Jeez.
PC. I don't know. Well, or like upres and stuff like that. Um,
$70.
yeah, yeah. And as far as and I kind of mentioned earlier by the spoilers, like somebody telling me something's good or bad is perfectly fine, unless it's Josh.
Fair enough.
I've seen too many things with him and talked about too many things. Like I can read into it a little too easily. And I used to feel that way about you, Chris, but having done this podcast with you for almost 3 years now, I have no idea what you're going to like or not. I have no clue. It's complete. You're completely out of left field. We have muddied the waters so much. Like
You know,
you could,
I'm
you know what? Just tell me everything you like about this
man.
that I want to see, and I
I'm
don't know.
I've
You,
got I've got a lot of thoughts about a lot of things. I'm complicated. You know,
yeah, I
I
don't know if you're complicated. Is rolling the dice on your opinions complicated? That's
I
just chaos.
I was having a disagreement with a friend at work about a certain British author um who may or may not
Jolkin, Rolkin, Rolkin, Tolkien.
who may or may not have written a series of books about a child magician. And I said, you know, I don't I don't always agree with everything that she says, but they they have done things in the world that you could consider good,
Oh,
you
Joling,
know.
Noling, Rolling.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so I think we ended the ended the discussion by saying like the world isn't black and white, but this person is like all the shades of gray. And you know, that's kind of like my opinion on all media. I disagree fundamentally with a lot of things people like.
sure.
You know, it's just
You
we're
bashed
all
The Last of Us for 45 minutes on this podcast. Like
we're all allowed to
this is
have
it,
taste and thoughts
or lack thereof.
and opinions. And then the rest of us can be Anthony. So
Yeah.
um,
I see. There are two things. There's two types of opinions in this world, Chris.
mhm.
There's just chaos and going with the trend. That's what
Yeah,
you bring to the table.
trend.
And then there's the guiding light, right? There's the North Star. There's the
Yeah,
truth, and that's what I bring to the table. That's why we work so well together.
yeah. Is that it? Are these
Yeah.
lights on? Is it a cloudy night? I don't understand.
Snow is asking, are there more than 50 Shades of Grey,
You know,
or
I
is
don't
she
know.
just 50 Shades of Grey?
I don't know. You know,
That's a crossover I was not expecting
I
to
learned
contemplate
something
today.
about shades and hues the other day. Did you know that if something has an amount of black in it, it's considered a shade? But if it has more white in it, it's considered a hue. Did you know that?
I did not actually. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And I found this out because my wife works, she's a light designer for theater. Um, Women actually have more capability to recognize different shades and hues of color.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's
I
pretty
knew that.
interesting.
That's why most people who are like the vast majority of people who are colorblind are men. And like I've taken some of those tests to see like how well you differentiate color. I'm not
Mm,
colorblind in any way,
yeah.
but there definitely is a few shades of red to orange where I'm like, oh no, those are the same. Like there's red orange and it's just red. This is red. This is red. This is red, and suddenly it's orange. Um, but also, you know what though? Thinking about that, I took that test on my computer screen, and who knows what my monitor settings were at? You know what I mean? Like maybe I need to retake it IRL and see
Yeah. Yeah.
see what's up.
My main monitor is broken and it has a distinct purple shift every once in a while.
Oh,
So
nice,
I'll just
nice. You don't have the blue screen thing. Is like a setting turned on that's messing up, or
no. It's no, because I unplug the HDMI cable and reseat the cable, and it'll immediately return to its regular scheduled programming. Um, but
good,
but no,
good.
I'll just be sitting there, and all of a sudden I'll be like, this page isn't supposed to be purple. Hold on a second.
Well,
Wait a minute.
my monitors, both of them, or at least my non-work ones or whatever. They're what are they called? IPS.
IPS.
Yeah, they're IPS. So unless I'm playing a game or watching a movie, they are the brightness is all the way down. Like I made a preset where it's just no brightness whatsoever, and they're still super super bright. Um, but I can tell, like, if I turn on if I turn one on to whatever mode where it's the brightness is back up, and it's so I can watch, like I was watching a movie earlier today for the podcast. If you move it over to the other screen, like the way the colors change just with brightness and is ridiculous. Um, so all I'm trying to say is that maybe you just have some settings messed up. You can get
No,
it.
no,
No. I believe in you.
it's
I believe
monitor.
in you.
It's monitor. Trust me.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The settings on the monitor, Chris.
No, it's
You're not paying
just
attention.
broken. It's just broken.
Fair enough. Look, do you want to talk about what we're doing next month? Or
The
well, I guess like
Dragon?
what are we going to talk about with? Okay, it's just Kelsey Grammer. All right. So for anyone who's a first-time listener, watcher, viewer, whatever, many moons ago, we watched a film called Seven Guardians of the Tomb, in which Kelsey Grammer. It's a giant spider movie.
It's not how
I
you
do
spell
recommend,
Guardians.
unless you have arachnophobia, and in which case I do not recommend.
In fact, if
Um,
you do, I recommend watching it twice at
Just-
IMAX.
Just approach your fear with confidence. No, it's called Seven Guardians of the Tomb. It's got Kelsey Grammer in it as the hidden villain in the film. And yes, I spoiled that for you. Still watch it; it's fantastic. And ever since then, we have not every episode, but frequently we ask a question: who is Kelsey Grammer? And meaning, who in this show, The Last of Us, would you cast or recast as Kelsey Grammer?
If I were to recast KG, it'd probably be Frank.
Really?
I think the actor who plays Frank does a great job.
Oh,
Unfortunately, I don't know his name. I don't recognize him from anything. But I feel like if there is another actor who could stand toe to toe with Nick Offerman, and probably steal a scene or two, because I don't want him to be David.
Oh,
That would
no.
just skis me out of my skin. Or maybe
Murray Bartlett.
maybe just like a random guard. You know, like I think, are we thinking a cameo? Or are we thinking like a mainline character?
It's up to you. It's up to you.
No,
This is your. I have
No.
my answer.
Frank. It's definitely Frank.
It's Frank. I disagree with that. I think that Murray Bartlett did a really really good job. He's got 56 credits, acting credits, including multiple episodes of new television and some movies and whatnot. But he's definitely tactical grandpa. Kelsey Grammer is tactical grandpa with the fantastic beard. I bet you Kelsey Grammer can grow a good beard. That's who he is, hands down. That or he's the doctor that she shoots earlier in that episode. But he's
Who?
definitely the doctor in the prison that Kathleen shoots.
Oh, I got you now. Okay,
Yeah,
I understand.
Tactical grandpa is like her number one.
I
I
understand.
don't know his name. He's
I thought we
Tactical
were still
Grandpa.
talking about Frank for a second there.
No, Frank
Sorry,
is whatever.
I misunderstood.
No. Kelsey Grammer is tactical
Yeah.
grandpa, or maybe if he just wants to shoot all his scenes in one day, he's the doctor that's tied to a chair and then shot semi off screen.
I can see that.
Well, we have in the chat the brother's wife, Tommy's wife. No, that's
No.
would be husband. First of all, I believe that
How dare you.
Kelsey Grammer is identified as male. But who knows, man? I mean, like, this is all titles. You know, we can mix and match. It's whatever.
I may or may not have a cameo corner, but this one is going to be obscure.
Okay, how obscure?
So, from what I understand, in Endure and Survive, the episode when they go into that little room,
Mm-hmm.
the little
Like
in
the
underground-
attic space or whatever, or the
No, no, no.
underground room.
The underground tunnel thing.
Okay.
They come across a picture where it has like our protectors, and it's supposed to be a person who's been like drawn in some crude crayons, blue and green. And I get conflicting reports on it, but I think it's supposed to be the Mandalorian and Boba Fett.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Those are those two characters that they're alluding to are like I don't remember if they're in the game, but they have a bigger presence in some of the lore in that area
Oh,
or what
okay.
have you. So they are they are pre-established characters. Now them being
Okay.
drawn blue and green maybe is a reference. I don't know if that exact crayon picture is pulled from
Yeah.
it, but um yeah. A
Okay.
shout out. We got a shout out to Abyssal for the follow.
I think I know that person.
I don't think you do.
Are you
Does
sure?
anyone really know anyone?
I
Really?
think I know. I think I know that person. Uh, yeah. I was just reading a thing that it's supposed to be Boba Fett and Din Djarin.
Oh, sure. It might be.
So
But
yeah.
yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting cameo corner. I don't really have a cameo corner. Um, there was one episode where that guy from Parks and Rec showed up. That's the closest I got. I'm sorry.
Fair.
Yeah. All right. And of course, highly recommend. I think worth the price of subscription. We established that when we reviewed the pilot episode. If you've listened this far and then we told you not to watch it, it would be very very confusing. Um, let's talk about what's coming up this next month. So we've stopped live recording our episodes. We are banking them, building stuff for the future, doing that offline, but we still want to do live content. So we're going to do a couple of live shows a month where it's a little bit more off the cuff, a little bit more relaxed. We'll talk about something we normally wouldn't talk about. Like normally we wouldn't do a season review of something, but The Last of Us is big, and we watched it because we both really, really liked it. So instead of turning it into a normal episode where we end up rehashing things we've already talked about, we put it in the live show. In a couple of weeks, the weekend of the 31st to 1st, here at the end of in exactly 2 weeks, that next weekend or that weekend, we'll be doing another live show, talking about Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Yeah,
Yes.
so we're gonna go see the prequel story, The Fast and the Furious, in theater, and then we're gonna jump on a live show and chat about it. I'm really looking forward to this movie. I don't know. Have you seen any trailers for it?
I mean, I'm sure I have. Don't remember anything about him other than Chris Pine being Chris
Okay,
Pine.
cool.
So
Yeah, pretty much. Looking forward to it, and we thought we would dive in because there were old Dungeons and Dragons movies that are very much more in our normal purview. Uh, so, so we're right now we're watching. I think I kind of mentioned it earlier in the stream. We're watching the original Dungeons and Dragons trilogy. First one being Dungeons and Dragons came out in 2000 just 2000,
2000,
right?
the year 2000. Yeah.
And then Dungeons and Dragons: Wrath of the Dragon God, which came out in 2005. And then in 2012, we have the Book of Vile Darkness. So we'll be reviewing all of those next month. And maybe a few other things. We're talking about maybe doing trying to organize like a D&D stream, like a tabletop stream with some friends if we're able to do that to cap off what has accidentally become Dungeons and Dragons month. It should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hopefully the movies get better as they go because they didn't start off great, Chris.
I doubt it sincerely.
Yeah. Have you? I have now seen the first two. Have you seen?
I plan on watching the second one this weekend.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it obviously on air. We'll get that out in April. But that should be a lot of fun. So we'll do the live stream and we talk about Honor Among Thieves, and then maybe if we can get it together, do an actual D&D live stream, little one-off thing. So hopefully that all works out. Figure out the logistics on that.
Are we actually going to play Dungeons and Dragons or just any tabletop role-playing RPG?
I figured we'd play D&D since we're
Okay.
gonna watch so much of it and keep it in theme.
First edition.
A D&D.
I've got
Obviously.
I've got my Thaco ready.
We'll do AD&D. We'll do
to
what is that,
hit
second
against
edition? Or whatever?
AC0.
Yeah, the less math we have to do on camera, the better.
Oh, we should probably play the 4th edition then.
Fourth or fifth, yeah, whatever's easiest for us right now. Yeah.
I'll use my
Pathfinder,
dueling.
just Pathfinder count as D&D? I don't know.
Eh,
D20 past,
eh.
D20. Yeah, okay. We'll figure all that out. It should be fun. Between now and then, I think what's coming up this next week. We reviewed a short film called Backspace. Chris went onto the internet and found the shortest short films he could find. We keep complaining about how independent films are way too long, and we wanted to prove you could make them shorter. So we reviewed several very short, or a hand. I say several, 3 very short films. The first of which is coming out.
I
This next
fulfilled
Monday.
the task of which you ask.
That is true. You did a very good job of it. I was very, very happy.
Wild unfounded hope.
Yeah. So there was the Amazon Prime, like you could sign up and watch the film early this Sunday, but unfortunately I won't be able to do that. Are you doing that, Chris? Or are you gonna wait and actually watch it with me here in a few weeks?
Yeah, we're gonna go see it live. We're doing it live.
Yeah. Good. Any last shout outs? If anyone has any suggestions for things that aren't D&D that we could watch and review, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, email them to us, sci-fi-wiseguys@gmail.com. You can also hit us up on the social media at Sci-Fi Wise Guys, wherever you can find us.
Stay healthy. Stay hydrated. And in the zombie apocalypse, wear sleeves. I'm begging you. I'm begging you to do it, folks. I'm just saying. Just wear sleeves.
Just
You
cover
can,
the skin.
You can survive. Just wear sleeves. Trust me. I'm an expert.
You're an expert. Bye.
I mean, I've survived all the zombie apocalypses, man.
Yeah,
every game I've
single
ever
one so
played.
far.
Every game I've ever played.
Yeah.